If you're an eBay seller like us, you're probably often finding yourself online looking for all the information about how to better run your store, to make more profit, whatever your goals are. There's tons of it out there, and if you are listening to it all, your head is probably spinning. So we've all got to learn how to think like a cow. And if that makes absolutely no sense to you, don't worry about it. I'm going to explain, as I'm also giving you an update on day 17 of our right sizing challenge for our eBay store. If we haven't met yet, my name is Hope. My husband and I are full-time eBay resellers. We've been at this for about a year, and we are currently making an effort to right size our business so that we are not growing it too big, as in we don't want to have too much inventory in our home, and we're also trying to boost sales. So we, a couple of weeks ago, made an effort to scale back on the number of listings that we were posting each day to 6 listings per day. And we were committing to making one of those postings something that came out of our garage, most of which is construction related stuff. Anyway, I am so excited to share this. We had 10 packages that the package princess and I took to the post office today. And most of it was the usual stuff, with the exception of a Bodum milk frothing. It was a replacement glass container. I bought one of these manual milk frothers about a year ago. I never could get it to work right, and I think after about a year I realized that the seal around the bottom, the plunger part, was not there, so it was not ever going to work for me. So I listed the glass portion of it as a replacement, and it had only sold for like $8. I had calculated in my own head shipping to be about $4 to $5. Well, I did not account for shipping with lots of packing and to pack it safely to make sure it gets there and it's not broken. Anyway, Michael stepped in to help me pack it. By the time we got all the packaging and fluff and everything around it, that crazy thing cost us $11 to ship. So I'm not going to be selling any more of those without really doing some research on the shipping portion of it. So that brings me back to thinking like a cow. Years ago, my husband was in seminary, and we were spending some time around a dear pastor who was just mentoring us in about a lot of different things. And he was sharing a story about someone else who had mentored him years ago. And he was asking this mentor if he had any advice for him as he was getting ready to go to seminary. And he said, yes, you need to learn to think like a cow. And he had no idea what he was talking about, but he didn't want to sound crazy or foolish. So he didn't ask him. And they carried on the conversation a little bit further. And then the older, wiser mentor said, you don't have a clue what I'm talking about when I say think like a cow, do you? And he said, no, I don't. He said, but I was afraid to ask. So he explained to him that when you feed cows, and like we know this, but back in the day when our grandfathers were feeding cows, they would throw out hay for the cows. And when they throw out that hay, mixed up in the hay is good stuff, good hay, but there's also rocks and stubble that ends up in it as well when it gets rolled up. But you don't have to worry about the cow eating the rocks and stubble. They know not to eat that. They eat just the good stuff that's good for them, and they leave the rocks and the stubble. So we need to learn to think like cows as well. We need to take in the good stuff, take in what we know is for us, and we need to leave the rocks and the stubble, the stuff that's for somebody else. In my case, I don't need to be an everything seller because I'm not prepared with packing materials and the know-how for packing up different types of things all the time. It's good for me to stick to things that are not going to break when they ship, things that I know how to ship easily, and I need to leave the glassware stuff to somebody else. Let that be rocks and stubble for me, but hay for somebody else. Also, there's a lot of information about bolos, and when you're selling clothing, if you listen to what the expert and the successful eBay resellers are selling, they're going to tell you all the brands that work for them. And what we have found is that the niche that they're selling to is not necessarily the niche that we're selling to. So a lot of the things that other people will turn their nose up at, like, I don't know, Dockers pants or Izod shirts or something, and they'll say, I don't pick those up because they don't sell for enough. Well, that's fine, because if they're not picking them up, but we pick them up and we get to sell them, we don't have that competition with them. So I'm not saying pick up Izod or pick up Levi's, like whatever, like figure out what the items are that sell for you and look for those. Find the things that sell for you and are accessible, things that you can source easily. For us, I would love to sell jeans all the time because they're very easy to wash and hang up and photograph and list. We don't have steady access to a good supply of jeans, so we stick to other things. So I hope that the Think Like a Cow makes a little bit more sense to you now, and you're able to apply it to the information that you're getting. I'm sharing the things that work for me and is hay for me. It might be hay for you. So take it and eat it up if it works. And if it doesn't work for you, feel free to toss it aside like it's rock and stubble. I'm not offended if you do things differently from me, and if you let me know that you do things differently. Your information might help me as well. I do hope that in general, I'm able to share things that help you in your eBay journey. Things like maybe shipping information, like in this video, or ways to avoid returns in this video. We will see you guys for the update on day 18 tomorrow. And until then, have a blessed day.